internet, my name is Sisley and welcome back to my channel. So yesterday was the first semi-final of the Eurovision Song Contest 2019 and today I am here to talk about it. I am really excited. It's finally Eurovision week. Me along with millions of other Eurovision fans across the world have been waiting for this week all year. Eurovision is truly one of my favorite times of the year just because it's all about music and I'm a hoe for music. As much as I'm a hoe for celebrating other things like Christmas or birthdays, nothing compares to celebrating music all over Europe. But before we start, I would like to thank the people who are supporting me on Patreon. I love you guys so much. Your support means a lot to me. Thank you. And while we're at it, I would like to invite you all to check out my new song that I just put out a couple weeks ago. It's called Heart and You. I'm really proud of it and I think y'all are gonna love it, so please do check it out. There will be a link in the description and in the pinned comment below the video. But yeah, let's get to talking about the Eurovision. I want you guys to tell me which were your favorite songs that we saw in the first semi-final, and I cannot wait to hear who you think was robbed. Because there were so many good entries this year and I definitely have some grudges against the voting because one of my favorite songs didn't qualify. Alright, so let's start at the beginning. The opening was pretty cool, the performance was strong, the staging is really nice, I have no complaints. I really love the giant triangle-shaped screens at the top where they show the flags of the countries. I really love just seeing those little design details that each individual country comes up each year to display the flags, you know, like the overall theme, the slogan, the music. I really liked how the postcards were, like they said, instead of just beautiful people walking around in beautiful locations, it was beautiful people dancing in beautiful locations. Like, that was pretty cool. But going back to the essence of the competition, aka the songs. Right off the bat, well, Lithuania was not in the semifinal. So like, I don't have any biased thoughts yet, but I am sure I will on Thursday/Friday. The next video about Eurovision I will put up on Friday after the second semifinal. I'm sure I have some thoughts then, but now my favorites were Poland and Australia. Now Australia was, I think it was the second song that I reacted to after reacting to Lithuania's song, and I loved it. But what I wasn't ready for was the fact that the performance was completely, well, not maybe completely, but very different from that initial kind of like final national selection performance that they put up on the Eurovision YouTube channel. Like, that was already pretty impressive, but what happened yesterday absolutely took my breath away. Plus the little ad-libs that she did at the end, because I listened to that song a lot, you know. Throughout the past 2 months I listened to it a lot because it's one of my favorites this year from what I've heard. And so, you know, like, I memorized the end and then she goes in with those pretty ad-libs and I'm like, this deserves to win. I know that it's not that likely to win because the general public will likely favor the songs that are more like conventionally EDM and stuff like that, but Australia's performance has what a lot of others wish they had, you know, not just the performance but the song. It just has everything a good Eurovision entry needs. So I'm a hoe for Australia's performance and song this year. Like, they are doing it and they're doing it right. My second favorite, which sadly didn't make it into the final, is Poland. And it was once again a song that it just started and I, you know, took a good look at it for like 10 seconds and I was like, this is it, chief. This is what I love. And like, maybe because in general over the past couple of years I gravitated towards unapologetically and shamelessly loving folk music, but now my favorite Eurovision performances are the ones that successfully combine traditional folk music with modern music production and more conventional melodies and chord progressions, rather than the entries that are trying to cater to what's currently popular on the radio, which, as I mentioned in my last pre-Eurovision video, which was my reaction to Cyprus, I think, which I'm gonna get to. This year a lot of people are doing that, like a lot. So Poland was naturally a favorite of mine because of those reasons, because there wasn't just a folk song with a fancy beat, you know, like it was folk rock, and the vocals were absolutely captivating, and their outfits were really cool, and I'm just heartbroken that they didn't make it, along with Portugal, which also Portugal delivered one of the best and most unique songs that I've seen in the past couple of years. And honestly, in my opinion, way better than the song that won a couple of years ago. What was it called? I forgot what it was called, but you know, when Portugal won with that ballad, you know, like that was a cute song, but this year's Portugal's entry was actually next level, and I was so sad that they didn't get in. Now, speaking of Cyprus, that was definitely one of the stronger songs in the semifinal, and in general, like, the semifinal was so strong. It's been a while since I have seen so many strong entries in one semifinal. Some other of my favorites that I'm glad got in were Greece, and Estonia. Now, Estonia just went that conventional electronic pop song about being positive, and I was instantly sold, because while it was conventional and catering to what's popular right now or what's been popular in the past few years, it just pushed all right buttons for me, you know? I love positive songs, I love happy songs, and that was just, you know, it was an uplifting song, and I was just like, this is me, you are catering to me. And I didn't expect them to get in, because I thought it was gonna be too generic and simple, but they got in, and I'm glad. Also, Greece, oh fuck yes, that aesthetic, that pastel soft aesthetic, can you tell that I love it? I love that aesthetic, and that song was really powerful. Another song that I'm really excited to see that got in was Czech Republic's entry, just because the guy who was singing was super charismatic. Like, he knew how to get the crowd going, and I always appreciate that in Eurovision, because sometimes you have these singers that, you know, maybe are like veterans or something like that, but they just stand on stage and they sing their song and it's cool. But then there are singers like this who just like are all energetic and they get the crowd going and singing and clapping, and that was so good to see. Like, I always love seeing that on the Eurovision stage. I want to mention Hungary because Józsi Papai was back for his second round of Eurovision. So while he didn't get into the final, it was really nice to see him back, because both his song, his first time round, and this one were really nice songs. Also, Iceland was in the semi-final, and of course I wasn't surprised to see that they got into the final, because they were among the favorites, and their performance and song definitely stood out. It was also interesting to see how they deliberately acted chill there in the green room. Like, that one shot of that guy just like idly waving the flag was so hilarious to watch. But yeah, I'm excited to see them in the final, and I'm excited for Thursday because number 1, Lithuania is performing, and number 2, I'm really anxious because most of the biggest songs from this year's competition are gonna be in that semi-final. Like, most of the favorites ended up in that semi-final, so like, I don't know how much of a chance Lithuania has, but we sent a good song, I don't doubt that, and I really hope we get in, so y'all better vote for Lithuania on Thursday, or else, no, I'm kidding, vote for whoever you feel like deserves it most. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little review. Tell me what you think about this first semi-final and what your favorites are, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already, because there will be another recap on Friday and then another recap on Sunday after the grand final. Also, don't forget to check out my song. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time. I love you guys. Bye. Mwah!